Get ready for breaking news. We start with an incredible story about Jason Cronin, the two-time cancer survivor who is turning his survival into a massive mission. Jason Cronin is embarking on a grueling 540-kilometer thru-hike across Türkiye's Lishan way to champion Movember and fight for low-cost rural cancer screening access. This journey is more than just miles. It's a fight to ensure that men in rural communities have the opportunity to get screened, and you won't want to miss the details of this extraordinary undertaking. Define the season. This deep dive explores how editing shapes our view of the game and the intense competition that led to the finale. And finally, a deeply moving and painful story of resilience. We examine the story of Jen Ashcraft, a World Trade Center attack survivor who is now battling a frightening autoimmune disorder that is burning her body from the inside out. Jen Ashcraft shares how she is fighting to get the recognition her suffering deserves, and the challenges survivors face when their condition is not recognized by the medical system. Stay with us as we bring you the full breakdown of these incredible stories and what's next. A cancer survivor is transforming his experience with illness into a global mission, embarking on a grueling thru-hike across Türkiye's Lishan Way to advocate for men's health and increase access to low-cost rural cancer screening. Jason Cronin, a two-time cancer survivor, began his battle with stage 3 cancer in 2004, undergoing aggressive treatment including chemotherapy and multiple surgeries. A second diagnosis in April 2024 shifted his focus from survival to advocacy. Now, after 2 decades in remission, Cronin is undertaking a 540-kilometer hike, reflecting the rugged terrain of the Lishan Way, to support Movember and address significant financial and logistical barriers rural cancer patients face in accessing screening and care. Cronin emphasized that the hike is about more than physical endurance. It is a direct effort to highlight the 43% of men in rural communities who lack access to cancer screening. A man's location should not dictate his survival, Cronin stated. I am walking 540 kilometers to bridge that gap and ensure every guy has the opportunity to catch it early and win. The Lishan Way Challenge aims to launch 5 to 6 pilot programs focused on men's cancer screening in underserved communities across the US, Europe, Türkiye, and Asia starting in 2027. To amplify his message, Cronin is developing a real-time platform that combines live trail data, personal storytelling, and cinematography, translating updates and screening resources into 10 languages to reach global audiences. The grassroots campaign has set an ambitious fundraising goal of over $25,000 for Movember and rural cancer screening access, currently having secured support from over 100 donors. The challenge is backed by numerous global trail partners, including HOKA, DJI, Johnson & Johnson, and Travel Massive. Jason Cronin, who is also the managing partner of Garden District Ventures, is leveraging his personal journey to drive tangible change, focusing on breaking down geographic barriers to vital health resources. 1 year after the Palm Springs bombing, survivor Sean Bates continues to navigate a year-long struggle for recovery, battling severe physical, mental, and financial devastation. Bates, who moved to Palm Springs in January 2025 to start a new life, was directly affected by the attack, witnessing glass and hearing the explosion of a car bombing targeting American reproductive centers nearby. Immediately following the blast, Bates assisted a coworker, sustaining injuries himself, including bleeding from his head and arms and severe back pain. The blast resulted in significant external and internal injuries, stemming from 270 pounds of ammonium nitrate. The physical trauma was compounded by a devastating systemic failure. Bates lost his ability to work, leading to mounting medical bills, and his savings, depleted by moving costs and a broken vehicle, were quickly exhausted. The aftermath has been a relentless fight against complex systems. Bates faced challenges securing adequate health care, as temporary disability payments fell short of his pre-injury earnings due to commission structures. He experienced homelessness, living out of his car for a week before finding temporary housing, only to face another setback when his application to the California Victim Compensation Board was denied. The psychological toll has been profound. Bates suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, including auditory hallucinations of his coworkers' screams. Behavioral health experts note that such trauma responses are common when a sense of safety is shattered, particularly in communities that felt insulated. Seeking support proved critical. Bates engaged with group therapy sessions organized by the LGBTQ Community Center of the Desert, where he received essential advocacy and emotional support. Social workers have been instrumental in helping him navigate bureaucratic hurdles, including reapplying for victim compensation funds. Medical debt is a significant driver of instability, with research indicating that nearly 30% of adults experiencing homelessness cite medical debt as a contributing factor. Bates continues to manage chronic pain, mobility limitations, and ongoing treatment for internal bleeding. Despite the overwhelming odds, Bates remains an optimist, driven by the belief that he will prevail, supported by a resilient network of advocates and community support. Noi Dung Kai Tait. The Survivor 50B&B has returned, offering fans a deep dive into the latest developments of the competition. In episode 12, Mike Bloom welcomed special guest Lauren O'Connell to dissect the episode, titled Inconceivable. The discussion focused heavily on a double elimination hour marked by significant exits, strategic shifts, and extensive fan commentary as Survivor 50 pushes toward the finale. /N Mike and Lauren began by analyzing the emotional departures of two all-time stars, Rick Devens and Siri Fields. Lauren provided insights into the show's human editing style, which highlights fan favorites through heartfelt confessionals and legacy-honoring moments. They debated key narrative elements, including who truly controlled the Aussie vote, the strangeness of the Final Five's edit, and the significance of Tiff's immunity run. /N the conversation delved into the mechanics of Survivor's editing, exploring how it shapes audience perception, the dynamics of underedited players, and the challenge of balancing personality against strategy. They examined Rick Devens' jury threat level and how Siri's social game captivated the audience. Furthermore, Lauren shared personal anecdotes from her own Survivor experience, including advice on fire making and a demonstration of a new B&B finale game. What's in a name? /N The analysis continued with predictions for the finale. Mike and Lauren questioned whether a clear favorite exists or if an underdog, such as Aubrey, Jonathan, Rizzo, or Tiff, will manage to reverse the curse and win the $2 million prize at Final Tribal Council. /N The episode also featured a charity shout-out to Buying Time, dedicated to funding oncological research and providing financial assistance to cancer patients. The podcast provided a comprehensive breakdown of power shifts and final predictions as Survivor 50 heads into its 3-hour finale. Phoenix, Arizona, a survivor of the World Trade Center attacks, is battling a severe, painful illness, highlighting the ongoing, often unseen struggles faced by 9/11 victims. Jen Ashcraft, 60, shared her harrowing experiences with 12 News, speaking about the dual tragedies she endured. The 1993 bombing beneath the North Tower and the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. Ashcraft recounted the visceral impact of the events, stating she literally felt her body move during the bombing and witnessed the first plane strike the towers. Following these events, Ashcraft dedicated herself to service, volunteering with the American Red Cross to honor the firefighters who perished. She later met her husband, Tom Ashcraft, who was also a firefighter. Ashcraft spent decades organizing blood drives, donating her own blood in an effort to heal and pay tribute. However, Ashcraft's health has recently taken a critical turn. After battling various health issues for 3 decades, her condition worsened in recent weeks. She described symptoms including bleeding cuticles and a skin condition where her own antibodies were attacking her body. She was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, which she characterized as her body burning itself from the inside out. "My chest, my back, my face, my arms, my legs, and it's just very painful," Ashcraft stated, noting that she is currently receiving antibody replacement therapy to try and save her life. Ashcraft voiced concerns about the World Trade Center Health Program, which currently does not recognize autoimmune diseases, and mentioned recent petitions to include them. "I want to help other survivors," she said. She expressed a desire for her story to underscore the challenges survivors face from tragedies they wish they could forget, emphasizing the need for collective support. "We shouldn't go through this alone." Ashcraft is currently hospitalized, and friends are actively fundraising to cover her mounting medical expenses.